The succession battle for the AmaZulu throne unfolding in the Pietermaritzburg High Court this morning. The late King Goodwill Zwelithini's first wife, Queen Sibongile Dlamini-Zulu, and her daughters, Princesses Ntandoyenkosi Zulu and Ntombizosuthu Zulu-Duma, are challenging the validity of the king's will. The will names Queen Mantfombi Dlamini-Zulu as the regent following the king's death. It also gives her the authority to name the successor. For more on the story, let's bring in our colleague Simphiwe Makhanya. Simphiwe, a very good morning to you. Two issues under contention here. First, it's the spousal recognition, and then it's the succession. How are the courts approaching this?
Indeed, Desiree, but before perhaps we get into what we can expect in terms of the court proceedings inside today, let me just ask my colleague Ntombizosuthu to give you a sense of what is currently happening outside the Pietermaritzburg High Court. In your visuals, Desiree, we are trying to show you just how much police deployment has been set up outside the Pietermaritzburg High Court. This is a very important matter, Desiree, of course, involving the issue of the throne of the AmaZulu nation. And perhaps before I delve much into what are the intricacies of this matter, let me welcome my guest who has to leave as far as I'm concerned. Dr. Ngobese, thank you very much for joining us. Just in terms of your role as a cultural expert here, your presence, what is it that you are here to perhaps say and to do?
Yes. We are here to support our king. King Mrs. Zulu, we are here to say he is our Zulu king, no matter what. And people must also know, we know that history repeats itself. If you can just go back, you can see that there were some factions centuries ago of the throne. And we are here as Zulu people to confirm that this is our king. It's not a paper king. You know, when people are imposing their needs, which are not known by the whole nation, they always do nasty things, dividing the Zulu kingdom into pieces. We are here to confirm that those people who always say, no, the courts are bigger than the people, we say this is the king of the people, it is not the king of the papers.
But you would agree with me, Doc, that we are all governed by the constitution in this country, and therefore the courts will ultimately be the ones to decide on the matter of the throne.
Yes, but how about our culture? You know that culture was there before the courts. And we are not, we are not the part of the constitution. If you will go back and see how we suffered about virginity inspection, how people were imposing to us so that we become white, pink, or yellow. So the constitution is there, but it's not saving us as indigenous people of this country. That's why people, they come between the family in the royal house to disturb, to further their own interest at the expense of the papers. The papers came before the people, the indigenous people of this country. They are elders, they are everything. So if the king is the king of the people will put their king on top, the people, not the papers.
Is it your view that regardless of what the outcome of the court case is, but you basically leading
yes.
Zulu maidens
yes.
are of the opinion that Mrs. Zulu is the king of AmaZulu, regardless of what is going to be the outcome of the court case?
Exactly, because I told you, and the whole world knows how I suffered on top of the constitution. Seemingly, we as indigenous people of this country, with our norms and values, we are doomed. Look at the curriculum of the schools. Look at how the human rights have imposed. There are condoms, there are pregnancy in school. It was based by the people who are holding this and running apart our families. So regardless of whatever, Mrs. Zulu is our king. It's our king. It's our king. So, Umkhosi Womhlanga, this year we are going to celebrate it. They like it or they don't like it. They can go on with their papers, but we are the people. If people are governing, where the people will govern, it's the right time for the people to govern themselves, because there are many loopholes that we have suffered, we as indigenous people of this country. So, hail the king. Hail the king. Kamdla Wombani.
But Dokotela, what gives you the view or the opinion which says that Mrs. Zulu is the AmaZulu king, though you know very well that we live in a constitutional democracy and everyone in this country, including the president, has to abide by the laws of this country? Unfortunately,
if you could understand very much, everything was imposed to us. We were not the part of the building up of the Constitution. Because if we were the part of it, our needs and everything would be in the Constitution. Now, there's nothing of us is there. There's nothing. When we talk about pregnancy, we have played a crucial role in minimizing pregnancy in teenagers. But they impose pregnancy at school, they put condoms in school. The parents are not having any say. Is that democracy? Is that the Constitution? So we have suffered enough in South Africa. We as indigenous people of the country, I've become a victim myself.
I see you've brought your maidens, and I heard you earlier on saying that you will be accompanying Amabutho as they are making their way here outside court. The traditional Prime Minister of AmaZulu Nation, Prince Mangosuthu, earlier on issued a statement saying that the nation must avoid coming to court for, the issue of COVID-19, encouraging people to respect the regulations. It seems as though you are not heeding that call.
Yes, of course, it was said like that. But the love of the king, who will honor the king? The mask. The masks are there. We told them to bring the mask. We told them mine is just here. And the water, we said they must bring all those things. But our voices must be heard. The stones are not talking. People must talk. So we are not saying that we are not respecting him, but the love of our king. If we are not here, people will not see that there are supporters of this isolated king in his Zulu kingdom.
Isolated by who?
Isolated by many things. There are many things that our king is not giving.
By who though? By who?
By the people who are supposed to do that.
Who are those people?
No, I cannot mention their name. They know themselves. Nothing they have given to the king, except that this has been manipulated by politics and everything. Others are being loved, others are disliked in the same royal house. Then you can tell me. That's why the people are still coming. You are going to see Amabut. We are going to see the people. We are not ashamed, because there was blood shed here centuries ago. People fighting for their freedom of their land. The very land. We haven't gone to other countries to do this, but we are here in our motherland, in our indigenous land. We are saying enough is enough. But the king is the king of the people. It's not the king of the papers. If the papers are bigger than the human beings, let it be with Caesar.
Thank you very much, Doc, for your time. That's Dr. Ngobese. She is in fact the leader of the maidens, the Zulu maidens that you see here, who are busy chanting slogans, of course in support of Prince Misuzulu Zwelithini Zulu. We did earlier on here from Dr. Ngobese saying that a group of Amabutho will be making their way here outside court. But of course, you remember that Prince Mangosuthu, in his capacity as the traditional Prime Minister, advised the public to avoid attending this court case, obviously for encouraging them to observe and adhere to the regulations of COVID-19. But Dr. Ngobese here just now saying that they are going to be coming out in their numbers because they feel that Zulu is not being recognized by the people who are supposed to recognize him. As to who those people are, she didn't want to name them. But of course, we know that in terms of the court proceedings here today, we are expecting two matters. This issue basically is about the two issues which involve the issue of the throne. One is the issue of the will. The two daughters of the late King Zwelithini are arguing before the court that the will which ultimately nominated Prince Zulu to be the next successor to the throne is not legitimate. They are saying that some of the signatures on that will are basically fraudulent signatures. The court is going to deliberate on that matter. And of course, there's this other, pertinent measure as well, which is raised by the first king's wife, saying that she, according to her, Princess Sibongile, she is the rightful, wife of the late king, and therefore she deserves, 50% of the late king's estate. The matter is expected to take place, Desiree, at about 10 o'clock this morning, but members of the media have been advised to be seated by 9:30 a.m. Desiree, it's back to you in Johannesburg.
Simphiwe, it's also meant to go over 2 days. Do we know why this is the case?
Obviously, because of the complex matter of these proceedings, Desiree, the expectation is that, it will take quite some time for both these sides to make their submissions before the judge. And I suppose that that is the main reason why it has been, set down for 2 days, to be precise, Desiree.
Simphiwe, thank you so much for setting the stage for us. Are we allowed in court? Are we going to be seeing the proceedings live?
Certainly, Desiree, our camera crews are busy, being set up inside the courtroom as we speak. And as and when the court case begins, we will be giving you the rolling coverage on this very important matter.
In that case, let's let you quickly go inside the court. Thank you so much for setting the stage for us, Simphiwe Makhanya, live from outside the Pietermaritzburg High Court.